quick little vlog related video here. Um, Recently, as of my recording this, I had listened to an episode of the sports podcast that's done by Waypoint Radio. Not Waypoint Radio, Remap Radio. Former Waypoint people discussing the ways in which modern sports media, um, or specifically sports teams, try to make themselves available or unavailable as the case may be, to their local markets, and thinking in terms also of how audiences might watch these games, and thus how new fans might be built up for local sports teams. What brought this on was in this case Patrick Klepek and Rob Zachney discussing the, I would describe as messy ways Chicago sports teams, or the owners of Chicago sports teams, like for example the Chicago Bulls and the White Sox, are trying to, for lack of a better term, make the game unavailable to local audiences. In context for those younger viewers, back when I was younger, back in the days of the halcyon days, where, well, the uh, Portland Trailblazers, for example, were on one of their peaks with Clyde Drexler and Chris Dudley and Rod Strickland on the roster, and also at the same time, the Chicago Bulls had, Michael Jordan and Scott Pippen and later Dennis Rodman. We like Your local television would be, uh, your local TV broadcast would carry your local sports teams, plus you'd have on radio as well. If it was not convenient for you to watch the game live on TV or in the stadium, for example, you're a school kid, it's school night, you have to go to bed, so you can't stay up to watch the game on TV, but maybe you'll turn on the radio for the game and listen to it while you kind of in bed and are supposed to fall asleep, but actually don't. In this instance, we have, and um, during this time, I would say you had teams like, for example, the owners of the Trailblazers at the time, which would be, well, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, starting to do the first steps of what we're getting now with sports teams trying to do their own streaming services. And you have other similar things. You had Madison Square Garden Network in the New York area. In Portland, for a brief time, Blazers ownership did Blazervision, which was a pay-per-view thing that you could do where you would theoretically get the clear, commercial-free stadium feed of the game, as if you were like the full broadcast quality stuff, but plus everything else that's going on in the stadium. This is a pay-per-view thing, so you would spend a bunch of money on for each game for the convenience of watching it at home. And this went away for a while. I think part of this also, though, they did do some blackout stuff for Blazers games. And and part of the reason why this went away is because this was wildly unpopular with local fans. This was felt like a way to try and price gouge. And we went back to local broadcast stuff. Jumping ahead to present, you have, with the discussion of Chicago teams with Patrick Klepek, Patrick discussed that being a Chicago sports fan is to no pain, because yeah, you had those halcyon days of Jordan and Chicago Bulls where everybody was a fan of the Bulls, no matter where they came from. But ultimately, like, the Cubs always kind of sucked. The White Sox, to a degree, kind of always sucked. Um, the Bears have been mixed for forever, that sort of thing. And thus, and we think about that, like, it is a similar state being a Pacific Northwest sports fan, but, like, the Blazers, like, they've won NBA championship. It was when my parents were in college, but they'd won an NBA championship. It's just then when I was growing up, when in my time to have a similar experience. So when I was in high school and middle school, that was the Jordan era. Michael Jordan was leading the Chicago Bulls to championship after championship after championship. He retired for a bit and came back and led them to more championships. And then that era was supplemented by the Kobe Bryant era, as we discussed actually in the Nintendo Power Perspectives, which I will be returning to at some point. But in the NBA courtside game that came out for the N64, Jordan is still active at this point. He's not in the game because you have to negotiate rights for him separately from the Players Association. But Kobe's starting to make his name known now, and so on and so forth. Now it's LeBron. Now it's LeBron James. So we've had legendary basketball dynasty after legendary basketball dynasty after legendary basketball dynasty, where even when we've had a really strong Blazers team, um, they then proceed to run into they do okay, and they run into the Bulls or the Lakers or one of these other teams, and then just get clobbered, and thus again we know pain. Uh, Seattle Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl in my lifetime. Lost. The Mariners, Seattle Mariners, even when they had a lineup with Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez and Randy Johnson, one of their greatest lineups of all time, which is also when I was growing up, but with people on it who are bona fide Hall of Famers, who were well after their time on the Mariners household names for people who pay attention to baseball, which admittedly is something of an asterisk. The Mariners have yet to win a pennant, have yet to win a division pennant. And the Seattle fans have an additional hint of pain from the fact that they had a basketball team once that may not have. I don't believe the Supersonics ever won a NBA championship, and now they don't have a basketball team at all. So, which I feel for them on that point. We have the Timbers, which have won several championships, in Oregon, but we're in a less strong point at the moment. So this had me thinking, okay, if you're going to build up a new generation of fans for sports and your team to be to be Blazer believers or part of the Timbers army or that sort of thing, then what you want is your audience to be able to repeatedly watch games and follow the team. And had me thinking, okay, so what ways are available if you are a Portland sports fan? What ways are available for you to follow sports teams? And the three main ones we have. WNBA is not available yet. Or I don't believe their season has started yet. So I don't know how things are going to go for their broadcast. I can draw some inferences based on what we'll get onto with basketball. And I don't believe the Thorns season has started yet. So I'm going to be focusing primarily for this time on the men's team, not out of gender bias, just what's available for sample size at the moment. So, and we're not doing football at the moment because NFL season is over. But with that in mind, since you have three sports going concurrently, let's talk about those. Starting with the local teams. Let's do Major League Soccer and the Timbers. So Major League Soccer is on the one hand the most convenient and most inconvenient in terms of building up a following for, because on the one hand, you only have to subscribe to one streaming service to follow Major League Soccer, but on the other hand, nothing's available through free over-the-air broadcast, and you're still having to pay extra for it. That's Major League Soccer through Apple TV. This is because Apple TV is paid for a exclusive deal on this. Um, that said, I have my cell phone plans through T-Mobile, which means I get a free season of Major League Soccer, so I can just watch it. It's no additional cost to me, just so long as I remember to cancel at the end of the season. They won't charge me. That said, the Major League Soccer presentation on Apple TV doesn't. If you miss the game, if the game's at a time where you're at work or you're at another function or that sort of thing, you cannot watch the VOD of the full game after the fact. The way that, for example, for Formula One or for some of these other sports we'll be talking about, they'll just have the full thing and you can watch it. So, say, again, you get home early, you missed the game, or you get home, get there partway through. You can't like rewind to the beginning and start from scratch. You have to like wait till the game's over and watch the highlight reel, which doesn't have the same emotional flow to it as watching the whole game. Baseball, it comes next. The Major League Baseball also has their own app, also has a subscription plan available through T-Mobile. Mariners, all Mariners games are blacked out because they have an exclusive deal with Root Sports, so you cannot watch them live. They do, however, thankfully, have a option for you to, well, watch the VOD 90 minutes after the game is concluded on the streaming service. On the streaming service, you can watch the whole thing from beginning to end, which is okay. It's a nice alternative, but it's like it is better than in some respects Major League Soccer, but in terms of having to watch the full game. But on the other hand, no VOD, like the blackout thing is kind of dumb because Root Sports is only available through a cable package. You have to spend, and it's not even like through a basic cable package. You have to pay extra. So in order to get Root Sports to watch the Mariners, a team which has as yet never ever won a division pennant, never made it to the World Series, and thus to experience this suffering, you must spend over $100 a month. Now, certainly there are people who are like, yeah, I'm a Mariners season ticket holder. I will gladly pay over $100 a month to watch the Mariners lose in front of me, or win some, lose some, and not quite make it to the finals, or not make it to the pennant, or that sort of thing. And particularly if you're up in Seattle, but like, 100 something bucks a month for just for the Mariners. Yes, you're getting a bunch of other cable networks. You're getting FX, you're getting all this other stuff in there too. But also a lot of that programming is available through possibly other streaming services that you're already subscribing to, like Hulu, like Netflix, that sort of thing. Yes, if I subscribe to a cable package with Root, I'll have the ability to watch programming on FX and whatever the new hot shows there are. I also have Hulu. I can also have Hulu. I can watch those shows there. It's like, I don't have that much interest necessarily in a lot of those that programming. Or you get subscribed to AMC Plus at, instead of 100 something bucks a month, you're paying 15 bucks a month to get what's on AMC Plus for what's on that channel, or the stuff that's on TNT is going to end up on Max because that's owned by Warner Discovery. You see where I'm getting at here. So it's not as valuable to have to spend that significantly larger chunk of change for the one sports team if you're trying to follow the Mariners. And our third is the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers have once again revived the Blazer Vision concept as a streaming service, in addition to having a second channel through K2, which is owned by Sinclair Broadcasting. Also, the BlazerVision package is also co-owned by Sinclair. So if you subscribe to BlazerVision, rather than the money just going to the Blazers program, it's also going to a company that has, and I'll put a link to the doobly-doo for the relevant John Oliver episodes getting into this, served as a mouthpiece for the network that serves as a mouthpiece for ultra-conservative and actually fascist ideologies like those professed by by the current president, by the Trump administration. So, fortunately, you have broadcast, and the Blazer Broadcast Network, which again is owned by Sinclair, is also available to you at no cost. And from the Blazers games I've watched on there, the advertisements have generally been limited to stuff that is in the Rose Quarter complex. Like if they're advertising food, like it's advertising, oh, there's Dave's Hot Chicken at the Moda Center. So here's ads for Dave's Hot Chicken. Sport ads for sports bars, that sort of thing. It's the more unpleasant political coverage that get from Sinclair isn't showing up on the Rip City network. It does still kind of show up. There's a program called the National News Desk, for example, that airs opposite of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, which that's yeah, I'm not going to trust that further than I can throw it. And like again, a lot of the other programming they have on there is like very meh. But as far as the Blazer game go, that's fine. So if you're just going to watch the Blazer game, but what you don't get is you don't get video on demand or that sort of thing on there. If you want that, you have to you have to find some sort of over-the-air broadcast streaming service, recording service thing. Like for example, a product information, like the Tableau TV or something like that, to hook up an antenna to and record off the air, or TiVo or that sort of thing. If you miss the game and want to watch it later, some situations they have rebroadcast the game a few hours later, same day. But obviously that is the nature of over the air. It is not on demand. It is when it airs, and when it's gone, it's gone. And that's where you're at. On the one of these, like Rip City TV is the most and Rip City Radio is the most available to audiences. It's the most something that you can just get at no cost to you. Mariners do have Mariners Radio, but you do have to contend with the fickle whims of, honestly, sports radio advertising in your market if they are broadcasting the game, with the added complication of, if I watch a Blazers game on my television, I can mute the commercials and not have to listen to them, and then when the game is back, I know I can just unmute it. If I'm listening to a Mariners game or a Blazers game on the radio, whenever there's a garbage radio ad, and radio ads generally tend to be garbage, I don't listen to commercial radio stations as far as terrestrial radio goes. So when a commercial radio ad comes up and it's garbage, if you mute it, it's not like you're risking missing a portion of the game when it comes back. Most radios don't have a timed 30-second mute or something like that, or automatic recordings like, oh, rewind 30 seconds, or 10 seconds if after your 30-second mute your thing is already started, or that sort of thing. It's a general pain, as far as for taking in sports on the radio. It was probably okay back in the day. I thought it was okay back in the day. It's now. And as far as Major League Soccer goes, like, on the one hand, the problems there are specific to stuff imposed by Major League Soccer as an organization. It is a if there is a hamstringing happen there, it's at the it is not at the team level. It is at the league level. And that is not the Timbers' fault. That said, I do appreciate that they are taking the steps to not black out their games on the service, not requiring me to have to subscribe to the additional thing or wait until after the game has long ended and the results are on the internet for me to try and watch the game. So, in order of preference, I would say Major League Soccer has it like they're all kind of equally bad, but which ones are worse? But Major League Soccer is almost a better thing because like there are options depending on who your cell phone provider is, where you just get it. And presumably like this is not just a T-Mobile specific sweetheart deal. There's probably like Verizon or other cell phone companies are getting a similar deal for Major League Soccer. That what they want is for you to set this up, have payments set up on your plan, and then forget to cancel before the end of the season. And Major League Baseball would almost like the Mariners would almost have that, except for would almost be better, except for the Root Sports blackout thing. If just every game on the Major League app was just available through the app, didn't have to worry about blackouts through exclusive deals with Root Sports on a team by team level, that would be wonderful. That would be a great way for if you are a fan of a particular team, particularly if it's not in your area and not on local broadcast, for you to follow your team. That would be awesome. With the Blazers, their edge is having like they are the one where you can watch the game, but it's only watching the game as it happens. And that is kind of a pain in the ass. In the sense of like, okay, like I have been procrastinating on setting up a over the air recording solution. And honestly, as far as the Blazers go, like it's that's not the thing that's going to tip me over. Great performances is the Met on Channel 10 is going to be the thing that tips me over. Public broadcasting programs that aren't available through the PBS streaming app that's what tips me over. But that said, on the other hand, getting this up is a bonus for getting to watch the Blazers games when it's on a work night and the game runs past when I need to go to bed. So, all things considered, all of these kind of suck, but with the way things suck with the Blazers, at least they're setting up the recording solution is a one time. I do it like I get the software or I get the hardware, hook everything up, confirm that it picks up the channel, plug in the scheduling information, and say, hey, record this channel at this time range, and I'm done. I'm good. I'm done. With Major League Baseball, would ostensibly, if I wasn't getting this through T-Mobile, have to pay subscriptions for a streaming app, and anyone else wouldn't. So that serves as that financial barrier there to watching and following the team. But that said, if you have one of the myriad ways where you're getting the Major League Baseball app for free, I'm getting the Mariners on a delay, but I theoretically am getting the Mariners. I can't watch as I'm recording this. There's a Mariners game right now. I'm recording this on the 29th. Right now, the Mariners are doing their third game in their series against the Athletics. Okay, sorry. Game 4 in the series is tomorrow. As things stand now, I can't watch the game that's played right now. I can watch the game yesterday on the 28th where the Mariners lost to the Athletics 7-0. I can watch that one. I can even watch it with the Root Sports broadcast or with the TV or with the broadcast audio being the radio broadcast while I'm watching the game itself. But which, by the way, nice touch there. I appreciate that. Oftentimes the people calling the radio broadcast are sometimes even better than the people who are doing the TV broadcast. But on the other hand, I still have to wait for that delay. I'm probably going to get spoiled on the result on my phone, with a news alert popping up saying, "Oh, the Mariners won," or "the Blazers won," or what have you. Would you like to watch the highlight reel? And also for that matter, when I pulled up in the app, it'll say, "Oh, here's the score to the game. Would you like to watch the game now?" Like, oh, do I want to watch the Do I want to watch the Mariners get thoroughly pounded by the Athletics, by the Sacramento Athletics? I don't know. And then Major League Soccer, again, I got it free from my cell phone provider, possibly available through other cell phone providers. But I can watch the game live, but I have no replay access. Best I can get is highlights after the fact. Both of those kind of crappy. They both let me follow the team, but not in the way that is ideal for how I want to do it, which is watch it live if I can, and if I can't, if I for any reason I'm not able to watch it live, let me watch the full replay. Whether this is because the scheduling is off and I had other commitments and couldn't watch it properly, or in the case of I came in partway through, I want to go back to the beginning and start to see the whole game. Because yes, the score will come up on my phone afterwards, but ideally I can just put my phone away while I'm actively watching. That's where I stand on that. No perfect solutions, but everyone is almost.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe. And also consider backing my Patreon. Patreon backers get episodes up to 1 week early of this show and any future Let's Plays. Also, please consider backing my Ko-fi. Tossing me a few bucks also helps support the show, and it's not a monthly obligation or anything like that.